Hey guys, and welcome back to Let's Play The Wind Waker HD. We're sitting in front of the Tower of the Gods. This is a nice little place it starts you in. If you save in this square, this is where it puts you directly face on with the dungeon, which I actually kind of like this view quite a bit. It looks pretty nice. So anyway, we've waited long enough, toured around the world, picking up all kinds of treasure charts and heart pieces and treasures untold. And now we're ready to go in. All right, so the Tower of the Gods. This is our proving ground, so to speak. I know there's been a lot of that in recent Zelda games, like, you know, Skyward Sword, where basically the entire game was about proving yourself. But thankfully, we only have to do it here, and then from then on, we can be the hero. So this is a really interesting dungeon. I kind of like it from a design standpoint. Obviously, first, this boat section, there's never been anything like it in a Zelda game up to this point in the series. So this is pretty cool that we actually get to maneuver around and do dungeon stuff while we're in the boat. Obviously, the sail doesn't do anything because, well, there's no wind in here. So we can just sort of cruise around, which is fine by me. And this section, it isn't overly large or anything, so it's not like it's going to take too long to get through. So you can see we've got a couple doors around. This is pretty simple. Like I said, there's only a few rooms we're going to be going in here in this boat section, so it's not like it's going to be too bad. But, you know, first of the puzzles here, we've got these statues we can lift and place on the switch. Obviously, when you step on the switch or put weight on the switch, it'll open the door, but when you step off, it'll close. This is a very classic puzzle. It's been in games since, what, like the 1980s, 1970s even? So we can figure that out. All right, it's got some yellow chews here. We've probably seen these types of things before, but obviously they're electrified. If we want to get rid of their electricity, we'll have to use the boomerang to stun them. And just one sword swipe will take them out. Pretty simple. Still just chews, you know, they're basic enemies, so. We need to make our way across to the other side. However, we've got no current means to do that. That's a little bit too large to actually, you know, swim around and climb up to. So we're gonna have to place this block on the switch, which will create this nice little light bridge. And we'll start climbing up the ladder on the way back. Now, it's a kind of a weird thing that happens here. As you can see, the water rises, which causes the box to move off the switch, and therefore the bridge disappears. But why does the water not weigh down the switch? What is special about that box that only its weight, specifically, will cause that switch to activate? I'm really not sure what to do. Like, water has weight, you know? It's not just invisible, you know, weightless stuff. But, oh well. Alright, so we can grab this little piece. There's also a lot of nice sounds in this dungeon. I like the sound this thing makes just as you're carrying it around. It's a very nice, pleasing hum. And as you bring it near doors, those start resonating with it. I don't know what it is about this stuff, but it just sounds real good to me. So we can place it in the specially designed switch on the floor. And that'll cause another place to open up. Pretty standard Zelda stuff, you know, do a thing, another place opens up. I was gonna try to jump into the boat, but I don't think you can do it when it's lowered. Maybe when it's higher up. But. All right, so let's head around this pillar here. There's some stuff over there that we can open that up, but we're gonna need some keys and stuff to get in there. There's also another room over here, which we might as well check out because we can get something from it. So I don't know what happens if you let the water raise. I kind of don't want to stick around to find out. I guess you just. I don't know if you instantly drown or if you've got the breath like you do when you're on the surface. I don't know how that works, but it's all right. So we've got a couple things we can bomb here. I wouldn't bother with that one. Like, that's the hardest one to get, but all it has is, like, there's a chew in it and then some pots that have basically nothing worthwhile in them. So it's really just to waste your time, I guess. I probably shouldn't just drop it straight in the water. I like to stick it here and then use the shield to deflect the blast. Just so you don't have to, like, jump off and start swimming again, you know. So, oh, well, pots in here. I guess there's not really anything worthwhile in there either, huh? But this one over here, I think, is the one that we want. So we'll let the water carry us back up. Do the old bomb stuff again. This kind of reminds me of the blast mask from Majora's Mask, like using a bomb and a shield. Because there was that trick in Majora's Mask where you could use the blast mask and then, like, immediately shield afterwards, and it would actually save you from the damage. So you just had infinite bombs all the time. It's pretty cheesy, but something about using a bomb and using the shield just reminds me of that. So we get the dungeon map from here, which actually the dungeon map is not super useful in this place. What makes this dungeon, you know, a dungeon, so to speak, isn't so much that it's, like, easy to get lost in, but it's mostly just the puzzles inside of it. So you'll see once we get to the main part of the dungeon, but it's actually very easy to find your way around. So we'll just ignore all these chews and head on out. If you really wanted to get that other bombable part of the wall, you'd have to drag one of the boxes over and use that to stand on and place your bomb. So you could also do the thing where you like wait till it's about to explode and then throw the bomb at it at the last minute. But like I said, there's like a chew and pots in there, so I don't know what really the point is of going through the trouble for that. So this time the puzzles ramp up a bit. We've got 2 switches. Oh man, what do we do? Even you don't have to reward me with that sound, all right? I know what I did. It's not that difficult. So a little bit of a larger room here. So we've got some torches on the other end, some lit torches and sticks. You can probably guess what we have to do. However, we're gonna have to sort of fix our way across here. We can make it as Link not holding a stick, but you can't hold a stick and like grab onto the edge of this box at the same time. You also obviously can't swim. So we're gonna have to reposition these boxes. Thankfully, it's just a couple moves, so that whenever the water rises, we'll have a clear path to just jump across. All right, so now we can grab one of these sticks, light it. I think we can make it across before the water falls again. Just in time. Actually, I had plenty of time left, apparently. I thought I was rather close, but... Okay, well, maybe I was, because time does freeze while that animation's happening, so... Either way, we open this and get a small key. Again, traditional Zelda stuff. Solve puzzles, get keys. That's basically how it works. More chews are going to drop. Again, we are just going to choose to ignore them. But don't yawn, man. I'm solving puzzles in here. I understand it's boring that you can't be where all the action is, but that's your role in life. You're a boat. If you grew legs, maybe you could come solve puzzles with me, but then that would just be awkward. All right, so now we can move across to the other side. These patterns on the wall may indicate to you that we can indeed bomb them out. So that's nice. I don't know. Just, I don't know, a little flavor thing, I guess. It's not really super challenging, but something to keep things interesting. So a couple more rooms over here. Ignore the chew once again, and we'll go in this one. New enemy in here, the bubble. Skull guy, pretty simple. He just charges you. Right now, the only thing we can actually, I think we can use the Deku leaf to blow out his fire, but I never think it's worth it, even though I just got hit there. Okay, well, maybe we'll do that, just to save ourselves the trouble. Yep, there we go. So that makes it easier. It's really easy to accidentally get yourself hit, and usually whenever you get hit by that guy, he does this weird laugh, so, you know, rubs it in your face a little bit. So we can open the chest. And that gives us the compass. So now we've got all our navigational tools. Take a look at the dungeon map. So if we take a look here, you can see it's really not that complicated. There's kind of like a couple main rooms that have some doors leading off to the sides. Third floor is basically nothing. Fourth floor is basically the boss. So really, this isn't a place where the map is incredibly necessary. Also, I like that little icon. I think that's the only time you ever see the icon for the boat on the dungeon map, since obviously this is really one of the only places we're going to be bringing him in. And also some things to keep in mind. This weird eye switch on the wall. Wonder what we're going to get in this dungeon, huh? Never could guess. All right, back out we go. You see we've got another one of those recesses for one of those pillar things, so we're obviously going to be getting one of those soon. And if we let the water drop here. Actually, there's one thing we can do. I'm going to get rid of this guy just so he doesn't bother me. Oh, we got some sticks and torches over here again, so obviously another one of those puzzles. So we're going to have to light, you can see those 2 torches down there. This isn't necessary or anything. It's not like you get anything super useful from this, but for completion's sake, I guess I might as well do it. So we'll wait for the water to get ready to lower. Now it's probably a good time. Nope. I had to wait a couple seconds. And we'll light these, which causes a chest to appear back above. We'll get that chest on the way back out. I want to just go ahead and go in this door for now. And you can see this one is locked, so we do need our small key from the previous area. Alright, so there's our pillar thing. We need to find a way up there. The solution for this room is rather simple. We actually just need to kill all the enemies. Unfortunately, we can't do anything to them while the water is raised. So they will slowly float toward you, though, so you gotta watch out a little bit. I didn't mean to hit him twice with the boomerang. I was gonna try to target one of the other ones. There we go. I like to try to get them all in one cycle, just so you don't have to wait for it to lower again. So that causes the stairs to raise, which again, nice sound, nice visuals, and we get to pick this thing up again. Oh, a chew jelly disappearing over there. Oh well, doesn't matter too much. You can see how many times I've used potions from those, right? Out the door. I'm glad that these doors just know to open when I get near them. Otherwise you have to set it down. Link is incapable of setting something down, opening a door, and then picking it back up again before leaving. It's been that way in every game, including, especially in Twilight Princess in the Snow Peak Mansion, I think it was called. The Yeti Mansion, where you had the cannonball. So there was a special apparatus simply to bring a cannonball through a door. Like, you really can't just put it down and then open the door and then pick it back up. No, too much trouble for Link. Joy pendant. Woo, we need a bunch of these. These actually sell for decent money. If I'm not mistaken, these sell for 20 rupees a piece at Beetle Shop. So maybe it's worth picking up if you care about, 20 rupees. Pick up enough of them. There's quite a few of them throughout the game. That's some decent cash for sure. All right, so putting that switch down actually opened up this little section here behind the waterfall area, the water spout, which is pretty neat. I don't think... Yep, no, figured that was going to happen. Now we have to wait. Hey, man, what's up? What do you think of this place? All right, helpful as always. All right, come on, raise up. There we go. And at this point, the boat is going to go back to its normal role, kind of relegated to waiting for us to finish our business and then return, so oh well. Okay, I think this is another new enemy here that we haven't seen yet. This is a Beamos. These guys are pretty annoying. As you can see, they're quite accurate even when I'm trying to actively avoid them. So we're going to have to actually kill these things with bombs, as you may have guessed if you know anything about Beamos from previous entries in the series. We're going to have to blow up their eye. Unfortunately, as you can see, they don't actually exist until they start shooting you. So it can be kind of tough to get in there, get a bomb without getting hit. A way you can do that if you really care. I usually just take the damage, but if you want to protect yourself, you can stand behind this statue. As you can see, that'll protect you. And then you can just throw the bomb from back there and that'll take it out. So you can do it that way, or you can just run in, probably take one hit and then kill it. So it's kind of up to you. It's not like health is really a rarity at this point. So initially you may be confused by 2 statues and 3 switches. However, you just have to step on the 3rd one. It's not like these don't have to be continuously pressed down or anything. Once the mechanisms start, they will just continue. So we can ride these platforms up. They couldn't just make one platform. They have to make you jump across. I wonder how many meetings were held. Just should we make one platform that goes up and down, or should we make multiple that you have to jump across? Wonder if there was a meeting specifically for that. Get out of here, rat. There's also a platform up here, which is a little bit bizarre because as far as I know, this platform does nothing. I don't know if this was accidentally left in or what. You can get there by riding this one all the way up and jumping across, but what would you do once you're up there? I really don't get it, so. Money in here? Yeah, decent money. So I'm really not sure why that platform is there specifically. Maybe there's some secret you can do that I just don't know about, which is probably likely. Seems not very possible that they would just accidentally leave a platform in, Maybe that was the one platform that was going to go up and down. They couldn't decide in the meeting which one they were going to use. So this, if we look at our map, is kind of the first, this is really the main hub, pretty much. We've got 4 doors. These other ones are sealed, as you can see. So we've only got one way forward, the big glowy door. So, like I said before, this isn't really a labyrinth so much as it is we need to just complete the puzzles that are beyond each door, and then the next one will open up. So I kind of prefer these kinds of dungeons where it's not kind of like a where do I go kind of place. Also, you see a nice switch over there. It's not really a where do I go type of difficulty. It's just, doing what is presented to you, and I kind of enjoy that a little bit more than the labyrinths and mazes. So, of course, being the first room, this one is pretty simple. Just walk across here. Again, this little glowy platform, I kind of like how it looks. I wonder what all these little symbols on the edge mean. Probably some font that they thought up that actually means something. Seeker of the Goddess's Guidepost. Press ZR to call me and guide me to my place of truth. So we press ZR, and the secret password is... Come on! I like that he just yells, come on. Okay, so we got our little statue buddy lowered here, and he's gonna hop around and follow us. He's kind of cute, actually. Just hopping around. So in order to get him through here, we're gonna have to sort of lead him down this lower path. He can't jump very high. The hops that he does are about as high as he can jump. So we've got to make sure we slowly lead him across so he doesn't walk off any edges, as AI companions are like to do in these types of games. So let's bring him out, and then once we do this, we can pick him up. Obviously, we can't just carry him through because he's a little too tall, so we can just hop across and bring him through. And the goal is, as you may have guessed, to get him back out to that main central hub room, which is pretty simple. Jump across this platform. And we're there. And this is, I guess, your place of truth. Ah, may have recognized those symbols as a thing we can do. Oh, roll into the pedestal there. Appear to be markings that indicate specific directions. Wonder if it's a song. So I think this is actually the first song we've learned that is actually in 4/4 time instead of 3/4. So we have to hold the stick to the left. And we've learned the command melody. Doesn't quite explain what it does right now, but I guess you can just figure it out. I can wait beyond the doors, control them, and guide them to their places of truth to open the path to the gods. Will do. And he goes to sleep. All right, one puzzle down, 2 more to go. So this next room, we've got these guys here. These guys, you can't really do much to them at range, which is kind of annoying. You kind of just have to hope they either get close enough like this to start charging you. So if you shield bump and then stab, that'll usually let you get them. I don't know if that's any faster than using the leaf or not, but oh well. It saved me from having to go into the subscreen, so gonna have to use the grappling hook to get across here. We got a couple very strange configuration, but how do you make a grappling hook that gets to 3 areas, I guess, right? So we'll just go straight across. There we are, nice and safe. Get 1 rupee for it. So let's switch here. We'll raise some bars on the other side, but of course, they'll lower once you step off, so nothing we can do on that side right now. Let's just go the only way we can. Let's see our friend over there on the other side. Use a grappling hook again to get across. I like these grappling hook jumps. This is one of the better things to do in Wind Waker. The swinging and jumping is kind of neat. So get this guy down off of his pedestal. And I like that he looks a little different too. They're actually like unique people that we're guiding. This guy has little horns and nice statues of himself on either side. Have a room like this, huh? All right, so we're gonna have to use our new command melody, as you may have guessed. That statue from before gave us a hint about controlling people, and command melody, well, it makes sense. So if we step on this platform here, that will cause a little bridge to appear, but obviously we can't step off of it, the bridge will disappear. We can't grappling hook with this guy. Obviously we can't hold him and use the grappling hook at the same time, so our solution is to actually have us, that's the wrong way, is to actually have us, there we go. Can't play and talk at the same time, apparently. No, so we're gonna wait down the switch instead, and then control our friend and have him go across. Kind of a cool thing. He turns green whenever you're controlling him, because I guess that is just Link's color. So now we're controlling this guy. We can just walk him across the platform, do whatever we want. Once he gets to the other side, we can relinquish control, and then we'll get back the normal way using the grapple hook. Perfect. So still some more to do. We still don't have a way to get this guy across this large gap. And also looks like our boat wants to talk to us here. Some areas which will not be able to bring the servants of the tower. Once you've awakened them, they will wait patiently for your return. Oh, that's nice of them. Nice and loyal. Alright, so the only thing we can really do is press this switch in order to open the gates, so it looks like this guy's gonna be weighing down the switch for us. And that's why the King of Red Lion says, like, hey, it's alright, you can leave them. They'll be here when you get back. Because we're gonna have to leave them here. I think we have to use this one. It's kind of, like I said, kind of a strange grappling hook setup, but it is what it is. So we'll just swing across here. And see what's ahead. Uh-oh, door locks behind us, a circular room with a single enemy. Yes, my friends, I believe we have a mini-boss. And these guys will basically just become normal enemies later on, but this is a good introduction to them. This is the Dark Nut of this game, and they are equally as fun to fight. These are always some of the best enemies to fight. Also, if you get them close to one of these pillars and they attack, they will actually knock the pillars down, which is pretty awesome. That's how strong they are. So, whoop, took a hit there, didn't quite mean to. So, as you can see, they've got some big armor. So we can't quite do anything from the front. So the best way to take care of this is to, let me reset the camera here, get a counter going, that'll let you get behind them. We can knock their armor off that way, and then basically just go to town on them. They're pretty much defenseless once you get to this point. They do some pretty neat hand-to-hand attacks. Whoop. So they're actually not too bad once they lose their weapon, but again, they are defenseless, so if you just press the attack, they can't do anything against you. Alright, so, yep, those guys are fun to fight. Like I said, I enjoy them. Pretty much any enemy where countering them is the best strategy because, you know, that's sort of the unique element to this combat system. It's always good when they actually use it. So these guys also drop Knight's Crests. So we've picked up one before. I think we got one in the mail. From our trainer guy back at Outset Island and said we need to collect them and bring them back. So that's our next big collectible, pretty much. We'll be getting those. I think they actually only drop from the Dark Nuts, but he was also guarding the hero's bow, if you didn't guess by all the eyeball switches around all over the place. Carry up to 30 arrows. That will soon change, I promise. And now we're good to go. So now we can actually interact with these things and explore the full extent of the dungeon here. So we'll have to equip it. I guess we can move it over our boomerang, probably. It's our other ranged option. Actually, yeah, I think I've said this before, but on the gamepad or on the controller, specifically, I like to put all my range stuff on R so I can still use the right analog stick while holding in the button. So we can also shoot these guys with it. It's an instant kill. And then we can shoot the eyeball switch. And unfortunately, I still feel like Ocarina of Time had the most... I don't know, poignant eyeball switches, because these, they just kind of like bounce off when you hit them. Like in Ocarina of Time, they actually, there we go, they actually stuck in the eyeball whenever you hit it, so like it felt really impactful, but these just kind of bounce off. So I don't really feel like I'm shooting it, you know? But either way, that switch caused these platforms to appear, and now we have our way for us to just jump in the pit and die. We have a way for us to bring our buddy now. So do I have to redo all of this again? No, okay, that's all still here. Grappling hook again. I really like the ability to switch directions in midair. I'm pretty sure that was an HD remake edition that wasn't in the original. Seems the thing that might have been in the original, but... Oh, this thing came to life. Well, too slow. It's so non-threatening there. I think that's kind of funny. So yeah, obviously those statues are going to start coming to life around us now. As you may have guessed, the arrow is one means of dealing with them, but you do not actually need the bow by any means to take those guys out pretty easily. Alright, so that is our second room down, our second statue buddy brought back, and that will open the next door on the circle here. Alright, so there's actually a couple things to do around here. This is sort of a bigger area. We've got some optional stuff to take care of that we are, of course, going to do. First of all, you can see there's a place that we can bomb down there, and there's a door over there. And we can also take these guys out easily with a bow and arrow, which is nice. You can try to shoot them manually, but that is, you have to be a real good shot to actually manage that. Like that. Okay, that actually worked. If they continue to fly in a straight line, you can lead them and get them that way. But so we've got some scales here, and these are actual functioning scales. So we want this one to be weighed down. It actually doesn't matter. I don't actually need any statues for this, but when we step on it, you can see it'll actually weigh us down here. So we can use a bomb, and if we time this correctly... Oh, I was actually a little bit late. There we go. That'll let us get in here and go into the door beyond. Quick little deal here. I don't know if we've seen one of these or not. We can check it, and designs that reflect the wind are drawn here. Well, we are the Wind Waker, and we have the Wind Waker, so play a song. Just the first one we learned from the wind god himself. You also may have heard a slightly disconcerting noise as all this started happening. And now these large statues are awake. So these guys, we just need to throw a bomb in their mouth whenever they open up. Pretty simple. Oh, they do jump at you kind of quick. And you can also lead these guys into the pillars. Oh man, that pillar almost got me. That was a little closer than I would have liked. Drop some arrows for us, see what's in these orbs. Bombs, hearts, a little bit of rupees, not bad. And we get a treasure chart in here, the first of two. The other one we'll have to backtrack a bit for. We'll make sure we do that before we actually go to enter the final chamber. All right, so that's one of the side rooms down. We've got another one over here that we can just swim across to. And I'm not a big fan of this room. I guess we can go ahead and take these things out. One down here. Oh, platform, out of the way. All right, wait for it to come back up. It's very easy to get impatient in this room and just jump off into the abyss. And the thing that sucks is when that happens, you get sent back to that door. So if you had made some progress on up the room, you have to do it all over again. So we've got an eyeball switch here, we can shoot, and that'll get it moving up and down. You don't really have to worry about the timing of it too much. When it's at its lowest point, you can jump to it from really any point on this platform's rotation. So we'll just jump onto it. And we'll get onto a platform here. Now, this is really the only chest that you actually need to get. It's got a small key. There's some more stuff up here, though, so I guess for completion's sake, again, we might as well check it out. Let's go ahead and hop on this platform. Hop across, and then we've got another eyeball switch across the way. So we'll let it come to us. Again, don't get hasty. If you jump off the pit at this point, it'll put you all the way back at that door. All right, so now we're over here. Oh, right, that's right. The switch over there. I always forget. I don't think we can actually shoot this from here. So I think that the corner of that wall is in the way. We might be able to. It looks like, yeah, that corner is just barely in the way. Its hitbox extends a little bit further out than the actual graphic does, which is kind of a pain. So we have to shoot it while we're moving on this thing, which isn't too bad. There we go, and that'll cause that chest to appear. All right, so we wait again. I'm gonna go ahead and actually get out the Deku Leaf here, because we're gonna probably just use it to get back so we don't have to deal with these platforms anymore. And we get a joy pendant, woo. Like I said, it's basically 20 rupees a piece at this point, is all that translates to. Alright, so that's all there is there. Like I said, all you really need to get is that small key, which makes that little side venture pretty quick. Alright, so now we get to actually deal with the scales. If you were wondering how much Link weighs, then I guess we'll get to find out. So Link is essentially the same weight as one of these statues, which, I don't know, these statues seem like they'd be really heavy, but I guess with the ease he lifts them over his head, maybe not. So we want this to actually stay lowered whenever Link jumps on it, so we actually will need 2 statues on this one in order to sort of counteract the weight that we'll have when we stand on it. So we can jump on here and make our way across without the scales falling. Use the key we got in that room to go into the next one. Well, this is kind of an interesting room. What you are intended to do here, as far as I can tell, is jump up on this block here and use the Deku Leaf in order to float your way across. This switch will obviously disable those lasers, but again, we need something continually pressed down on them. What I like to do is I like to try to just be crafty in this room for no real reason other than my own satisfaction. You can actually jump onto these statues from this block. And if you walk across the horns here, you can jump to the next one. And then if you aim yourself right at where these lasers are coming out, you can jump onto that, and that'll let you get over the lasers that way. Just kind of a dumb way to do it. Again, I'm pretty sure you're intended to use the Deku Leaf there, but I don't know. I just like circumventing their design, I suppose. All right, so our next statue buddy is ready to go. This guy's got side horns instead of the top horns the other one had. So we'll need to control him to get him out through the lasers and step on that switch to deactivate him, because right now we're trapped. So let's go on through completely unharmed. He'll deactivate us for us. And that'll let us get through. So from here, it's just another instance of trying to get this guy across. This guy also weighs as much as Link, and now we've got some more enemies. These guys are these Wizrobes. Now that we have the bow and arrow, you may have remembered I took some of them out with bombs before. This is the way you're intended to do it. As you can see, much easier. So we're gonna have to make our way back across. Again, like I was saying, this guy weighs exactly as much as Link. So if we want the scales to be still weighted up, we're actually gonna need 3 statues on the other side. So we can go ahead and throw this. There we go, just barely get it on there. Grab this one. And then we'll grab one more. And that'll let us also be on the scale with this guy and not fall down. One thing I really like here that you'll notice is as we pick this up, you'll notice something. The scale actually very briefly goes down while you pick this up. It's kind of a physics thing, like we're exerting a little bit extra downward force with our feet since we're lifting this guy like with our legs. You know, we're actually pushing down a little bit more. So just for that split second, you weigh slightly more, and that's a thing that they actually modeled. I think that's really fascinating. It's not useful or important in any way, but it's a thing that they did. So once our third buddy is there, it's kind of 3 pieces of the Triforce imagery that you may have been able to pick up on here. They'll go together and cause this blue aura to appear, and that'll be our way forward in the dungeon. However, like I said, we've got one more treasure chart we need to pick up, and to do that, we're going to have to backtrack a little bit. So let's go ahead and take this opportunity before we leave to do so. We'll just jump on down here. Avoid the Beamos. That's the other thing I didn't mention with the Beamos is if you don't care about killing him, you can just roll past him. It's not like it really matters. So, we don't actually need the boat. We can just swim on over here ourselves because we're going to have to go back to the compass room, remember? This is the room where we saw that first red bubble, and we got the compass. There was that eyeball switch on the wall that we couldn't actually do anything with, but now, well, we can do something with it. So after we finish rolling our head into the stairs, you can also just take this guy out now really easy by doing that. And now we can hit this switch, which will open up another treasure chest. As you may have guessed, this is going to house our second treasure chart. So that's everything there is to collect here. All that's left is basically just to take that blue shiny light up and finish this place. So as I said, I kind of really like this dungeon design in particular. More so than there's a ton of ways to go. I guess we can also deal with these guys at this point. So what you're intended to do, there are a couple of things. You can circle around and like shoot them in the back with arrows like this. As you can see, that will sort of take them out. But you also don't actually need the arrows at all. You can pretty much just circle around them on foot yourself and actually hit them with the sword. We can also kill these guys with the arrows now. It just makes everything so much easier, right? Some nice jelly for us, all the ones we missed before. So let's hurry up and get back over here before the water lowers. I don't think we're going to make it all the way, but that's just unfortunate. Nope. Oh well. Yeah, I know, you're bored over here. It'll be done soon. gonna slowly drown just sitting here next to my boat. Okay, well, I meant to open the door and not quite roll into it. So unfortunately, we do have to make our way back up here again. But not too much trouble, just a little bit time consuming. Okay, and that's where we need to go. Let's do it. Okay, another little chamber here. This is pretty simple. Now we do have another way to take care of the Beamos, but it doesn't actually make them that much easier. Okay, no, he didn't wake up. There we go. So you can sort of do it like that. It's a little bit easier to be quick about it with the arrows than it is with the bombs. Because the thing with the bombs is you have to lock on and then throw, and then while you're throwing, you're completely immune, and the bombs still take a second to get there. So you're probably going to get whacked by his laser as you're doing that. With the arrows, you can just walk up and shoot, and that way you're pretty much safe while you do it. So I think that's the intended way to take these guys out, but, you know, again, you can really just avoid them. It's not like they're necessary to be killed. So another 3 switches. The 2 statues. This time, unfortunately, they're on the other end of the room, so just a little bit of needless walking, but it is what it is. Nothing you can really do about it. And the design of these walls here actually kind of reminds me of, like, the final dungeon area in Skies of Arcadia. So, just something about the design. Or maybe not the final, but like when they go to the Silver Moon Shrine or whatever. So, kind of the same sort of aesthetic. The gold and silver, you know, with like, red here and there. So pretty easy big key here. This big key is also very simple in the fact that you can't actually leave this room until you get it, so it's really pretty much impossible to miss. So the other way you can deal with these guys, like I was saying, is just circle behind them and stab. I didn't actually get him quick enough, but if you just hit them basically anywhere, well, there we go. If you hit them just basically anywhere, like, they'll stop moving, but there you go. You can just stab them a couple times. I guess it does only take 1 arrow versus 2 stabs, so I don't know. Maybe it is faster to use arrows, who knows. Alright, another outdoor area. Always like when they mix indoors and outdoors in dungeons. Give us this nice little view. Unfortunately, there's not really much you can see from here. They don't bother rendering. I don't know if we're just supposed to be that high up. You can sort of see the bottom of it. Oh, hello. Were you trying to knock me off this thing? That's not very nice. Also, arrows work on those guys pretty well, so these guys we can just take care of with a shot, no problem. The blue ones don't actually follow you around, they just sort of guard the path forward. They do interact, you know, sort of follow you back and forth, though, so it's impossible to get by them without taking them out. Another Beamos here. Oh, I missed. That is the kind of hard part with arrows, is sometimes you'll hit them a little bit too low. There we go. This guy, if we actually use it with bombs, we can take them both out at once. And also hit ourselves in the process, why not? Goodbye. It's amazing just how much easier arrows makes everything. Got some more golden feathers, we don't actually need more of those, but, well, we got them. I think these we can just ignore. Yeah, so we'll just run through. And as usual, this is going to be the boss door, so we've got some stuff we can pick up. Fairy, which I guess we've got an empty bottle, so we might as well grab it. We're not ever going to run out of hearts and need it, but, well, it's better to have it than not, I suppose. A little more money, and in we go. Kind of a neat looking place, huh? How are you making my HUD reappear and disappear every time you say something? Is this the power of the gods? The power of information? So this is a boss archetype you see a lot in Nintendo games, Zelda series in particular. This time it's going to be the arrows flavor. Now, these guys usually only take 2 hits with arrows to take them out, but sometimes the eyes, like, they'll take 3. I'm not sure what it is. They make the sound of them being disabled, but I guess if you hit them, like, just as they're about to attack you, then sometimes they will continue with their attack. So once we take out both the hands, we can shoot the eyes, and then eventually he'll close them and do this attack. This attack is pretty cool. So much stuff going on that it actually causes the game to lag out a little bit. So just hit the eyes a couple times, and once he falls, we'll drop some bombs. As you may have noticed, this uses a fair amount of arrows, and we've only got 30 on us. So if you do run out of arrows, he'll actually drop some from his nose, which is awfully nice. He could just, hey, what do you, that ain't cool, man. You can't do that. Let me out of here. Okay, please jump. Thank you. Just for that, you're getting shot next. So Z-targeting makes this pretty easy, and it's really hard to miss, even if they're moving. You do kind of want to wait a bit after you shoot the eye once, because sometimes he'll still be moving afterwards, and you'll just waste an arrow that way, but I wasted an arrow there anyway, because he closed in order to do an attack. All right, one more of these. And throw a bomb. We may be able to do it without needing to get an arrow refill from him, but as you can see, you go through arrows pretty quickly, especially if you miss a couple shots here and there. Whoop, nope, not this time. Oh, did I hit them both? Nice, that's pretty good. Yeah, see, you'll miss if you try to shoot again too soon afterwards. Now I've only got 2 arrows left, and I need 3 shots to finish him off, so unfortunately I'm going to have to rely on that refill. So there he goes. He shoots some arrows out of his nose at us. And whenever he does that, it usually brings back, like, 1 hand, but that's not that big of a deal. You can just shoot it a couple times. You'll get back more arrows than you need to use. Also has pretty good music for this fight. It's one I like quite a bit. Okay, I think I got them both. Now we'll just drop a bomb in. Should be the last one. And there it goes. Fairly simple boss. Again, an archetype that you see quite a lot from Nintendo, but a pretty good one. The music's good. That bomb attack is pretty neat. And the hands are adequately annoying. So overall, pretty good. Put us very close to everything. Make sure not to step forward, because you'll get sucked up into that aura, then have to come back for the heart container. Be slightly annoying, wasn't it? Up to 13 now. Nice work. Then we move up to the top of the tower. Pretty neat. Kind of wish there was a way that you could actually see out, like some kind of window or something. That would be really cool if they just, like, rendered every silhouette on the entire world map and you could see it all from up here, but oh well, not meant to be. Alright, so you just grab onto this bell with a grappling hook. This is also kind of neat. I like this method for ringing the bell.